Thank you, Professor No, for a very kind introduction. A very good morning to a very distinguished small audience. Yeah. So, in this short presentations, what I'm going to do is to share with you our experience in creating a more healthy eating environment for the primary school children in Hong Kong for the past 10 years. Hong Kong being historically a colonial region, we don't have much epidemiological data in 80s or 90s. But starting in 1996, just before returning sovereignty to China, the Department of Health start to capture some epidemiological data. Here, this graph show you the secular change of the primary school children overweight and obesity rate starting from 1996 up to around 2005. So there are two key messages from this graph. As you can see, there is a progressive increase of the overweight or obesity rate from around 16% to around just before 19%. And then consistently, the boys are doing worse when compared to girls. In 2006, the Chief Executive Policy Agenda put the agenda of promoting healthy eating behavior in school children as one of the top priorities. As you all know, most of the childhood obesity will develop into adult obesity and with all sorts of comorbidity in their rest of their life. So the Department of Health, when they plan for targeting or combating child obesity, decided to intervene at the most upstream, trying to controlling two most important modifiable factors, behavioral factors, namely the unhealthy diet and physical inactivity in the school environment. So there are separate programs for the physical inactivity. Here I'm going to share you our program in the attacking the unhealthy diet behavior. So the program we created, we call it EatSmart at School Hong Kong program, with the aim to promoting a more healthy eating environment and eating behavior in the primary school children environment. So as you all know, for the children, for the students, their eating behavior probably will be controlled by three important platforms or stakeholders, namely the school. So for the school, we try to create a more healthy policy and also creating some food monitoring environment and also some education program. For the food trader, because of most of the students, primary students in Hong Kong, they will have a whole day school, so they will have lunch. Most of them will have lunch at school. So, and most of these lunch will be provided by lunchbox trader. So for the trader, we have creating a social responsibility and also have guidelines for them to be providing more nutritious food and also have some sort of education and promotion of the providing healthy lunchbox for the children. For the parents, we also need to provide education and encouragement and so that they can be a good model and then spend more wisely when they try to promoting eating behavior for their children. So we employ a more very complex, comprehensive strategy with alliance building, supportive environment, and also in between providing research and evaluation. And there's a whole lot of scheme and program trying to educate and empowerment of the various stakeholders. And also we have various means to provide publicity and advocacy. So at the beginning of the program, there is the formation of steering committee. Try to steer two important programs within the campaign itself. So the one sector is promoting a very healthy lunch program in the school together with a more healthy snack supply. And the other iconic program is creating an annual program of Joyful Food Week, starting with week and then later on turn out to be a month. Just an iconic campaign, try to promoting various eating behavior, taking eating food as one of the examples. And the steering committee itself composed of various sectors, including the government bodies professional association, and Hong Kong ASO is one of them, and also education sector, committee for the homeschool cooperation, and some of the media. As you can see, here is the later part of the change of the obesity and overweight for the primary school children. So the obesity rate still continue to increase up to around 2001, or peak around just over 22%. And then starting from 2010, there's a progressive and gradual decline, and most recent figure is around 80%, but consistently still boys are doing worse when compared to girls. And here is the graph chart to summarize from 1996 up to around 2016, so that you can appreciate the change over these around 20 years. So we implement a program around 2006, and then the obesity rate still peak for another 3 to 4 years, and then start to decline. So what have we done for the campaign itself? So time did not permit to give you any detail, but I'll try to show you a little bit of the highlight of the program itself. So from the very beginning, we created a very dedicated website. It's a very dynamic website with new material on a weekly basis, and serve as a platform for education, training, supply of material, publicity, and stir up of noise or exchange on advocacy. And in the field of creating a more supportive environment, provision of a nutritional guideline for lunch for students is one of the very important agenda. So here is the first version of the guideline with periodic update when there's new information. So within the guideline, we concentrate on both quantity and also quality. So here is one example of one of the summary about the quantity on the ratios of the grains, vegetable, meat, and also have a different criteria for different sector of the primary school, for junior and also for senior. And for the quality, so in simple words, we try to label all the food items with a signal of red, yellow, and green as some sort of easy way for appreciation to an exchange of idea. So try to promote healthy eating quality in 4 areas in terms of good practice to be adopted, encouraging food item and limiting some food item, and strongly discourage some of the other food items. And apart from the lunch box supply, so the snack shop is also one of the important environment for the school children. So there's also another separate nutritional guideline on provision of snack within the school, with snack classification, food item containing caffeine and sweetener are basically prohibited, and the snacks energy and also drink volume are also limited. So apart from creation of the guideline, we also need to have some effort to turn the guideline to the practice. So there will be training and tools to help to decide details of the guidelines, and also we have different incentives to promote compliance, and also a very important award scheme, try to create incentive for the school to follow the policies. So in terms of accreditation scheme, it's a scheme trying to develop as an incentive and also a program trying to encourage, to empower the school policy to adopt the guideline and to promote the guideline. So the accreditation scheme was divided into basic and advanced. So for the school, they have a full compliance of both guidelines. They will be awarded the full scheme. So the accreditation scheme itself is very successful. Quite a lot of schools joined, and so successful that it was appreciated by the WHO in 2012 with a reward. So are there evidence to show that what we are doing for the past 10 years did translate into improvement of the eating behavior, knowledge, and practice? So in between these 10 years, we also have conducted several surveys trying to document there's a change of practice and also behavior. So here is the baseline healthy eating survey in 2006. So we highlight the key finding that there's a knowledge gap among students. So most of the school lunchbox contained unhealthy food and also less than one serving of vegetable, and from the snack, 90% are unhealthy. So for the lunchbox survey at baseline, as you can see, most of the lunchbox contain far too little calcium and far too much sodium, and also there's room for improvement in cholesterol, saturated fat, and also sugar content. So there's two similar surveys done in 2008 and 2012, containing more close to 10,000 school children and also involving the parents. So here is some of the highlight among these three surveys from 2006, 2008, and 2012. As you can see, especially when you compare to 2012 to the 2006, there's a significant improvement in terms of percentage of more healthy behavior and increase of percentage of less healthy behavior. And in terms of parents' support, so when you compare the 2012 to 2006, there's significant improvement of the parents' attitude and support of providing better guidelines within the school. So in terms of typically regulation on lunch arrangement, there's less dramatic change. So in terms of involvement of school in providing a policy, so as you can see in 2008, there's only around more than 50% involvement. But in 2012, there's close to 90% involvement of developing some sort of policy within the school. So as you can see, when we analyze the lunchbox, when compared to 2007 and 2013, there's significant improvement in terms of total fat, saturated fat, and also sodium content, but there's still room for improvement. So in conclusion, I think we thought that the campaign itself for the past 10 years has done something, and there's documented change of the obesity and overweight rate within the primary school children. But there are some room for improvement, because we noticed that in terms of school participation, it's not 100%. So there's some schools, they are quite indifferent about the program itself. Maybe they have other more important priorities. And also not all schools, when we analyze the improvement among the students, there's quite a lot of variations. So in the future, we'll try to identify some outlier and probably do some more work for those outlier and for those schools they have not participated. So for this presentation, most of the material was supplied by the Center of Health Protection and also Department of Health from Hong Kong Special Administration Region. So with that, I thank you for your attention and we'll share your comment and also your questions.
We've got 1 minute for questions. One burning question, right?
I don't know how burning it is, but your final endpoint was overweight and obesity. That's the measurable that you're most interested in.
Yeah.
But did you have any sense of comparison from the incidence of those things in schools that didn't participate, a control group?
No, I think it's a very good question. That we don't have data on so-called control group, but we did have some comparison among those schools they have fulfilled all the criteria. And there are some schools they are quite indifferent or only have minimal participation, and try to compare the difference in terms of secular change. But these are not very fair, because some of the schools they did not participate because they themselves are doing quite well already at the baseline because of better resources or because of different nature of the school. Because some of these schools, they did not participate. They are so-called international schools. They are more wealthy. They have more resources. And we found that is the reason why they did not participate in the school program. So it's difficult to find a proper control group.
Thank you.
Why there was initial increase in body weight? First 3 years there was increase in obesity.
Because when we implement any public health measures, we don't have immediate effect. So we are expecting some sort of lag behind effect. So peak around 3 to 4 years after we implement the program and then start to drop. So I think that is quite natural, and we anticipate that sort of change already.